Hi homies! British Vogue put out an article saying that having a boyfriend is embarrassing, and I personally think that's fear-mongering. Or maybe I'm just a person who really loves love. But these are 5 things that I learned in a relationship that I wouldn't have if I was single. I don't know about you, but I love talking about relationships. I feel like in relationships, you learn a lot about yourself and other people. So here are 5 things I learned about relationships in my 20s. Number 1 is reciprocity. I feel like I used to be so attracted and drawn to avoidant partners because coming from an immigrant household, usually I feel like parents are super avoidant because they're so busy focused on surviving that there's not much else that they're worrying about. And so I felt like that level of avoidance was normal and that it was love, and it's not. For me, the biggest takeaway is, how do I feel when I'm with someone? I'm always thinking about if they meet a certain criteria, but I think the most important thing is that your partner makes you feel safe and wanted and loved, and the chemistry has to be there as well. It's not fair if you're always pouring into someone, and I feel like for any healthy relationship, they should be choosing you as well. Being with an emotionally available person has really done wonders for my nervous system. I feel like whenever I was in a relationship with people that were emotionally avoidant, I was just in a world of hurt. It was always an interesting dynamic because when someone is avoidant, I think I become more anxious, and that made me want to try more. But now I feel like I've learned just to release what doesn't serve me and what doesn't want me. Because if you're with the right person, you'll know that they want you. Number 2, they have to make your life easier, not harder. I feel like sometimes in some of my relationships, they made my life so hard. And I know I'm not easy at times either, but I feel like in general, a relationship should be a plus, not a minus. You should feel lighter when you're with that person. And I feel like with the wrong person, everything felt so heavy. I'm constantly feeling like I'm walking on eggshells. I'm always trying to predict how they're going to feel in a situation and try to accommodate their feelings. And honestly, I felt like I had to dim myself to make them feel more comfortable. And that's no relationship to be in. It's really important that your partner supports you in what you want to do as long as it doesn't hurt other people. Sometimes I was in relationships where the people weren't that supportive, or I felt like they would put me down a little bit. I don't know if it's because of their own insecurities where they felt like they weren't doing enough, but I personally always felt like if I was with someone, they were more than enough. So I think that they weren't used to having someone have so many hobbies and so many interests, and I was always super motivated in my career. And sometimes if people aren't at your level, they feel insecure and decide to make you feel bad about it, and you shouldn't feel bad about it. Number 3 is communication and honesty. I know that this should be common sense, but it's actually not as easy as I would have thought to find someone with the same communication skills or just level that I'm at. I'm also guilty of this, where in the past I wasn't honest about my true feelings because I was scared that it would hurt my partner. And that does my partner a disservice and me a disservice. I've also been in relationships where people weren't honest about their feelings as well. So I've got to see both sides of that, and I understand that it comes from a place of people pleasing, but that's really not healthy. It doesn't help the relationship deepen or grow if you can't be honest to your partner and honest to yourself. I feel like a lot of times people lie to themselves about how they truly feel because there's a cognitive dissonance in how they want to feel versus how they actually feel. And that's one of the skills I really developed in therapy, was being aware of my own feelings and not how I wish to be perceived. I really value honesty in a relationship because it aligns with my morals and values. People that can't be honest, I don't with. I expect the same respect and honesty that I give. And sometimes I go back and forth because does that mean that I want a transactional relationship? But I don't think that's the case. You should expect that from your partner if you give that same respect and honesty. If I have those qualities, I'd want my partner to have those qualities because I would want my partner to align ethically. Number 4, they have to take care of themselves. I feel like I used to be so inconsistent with the gym, and now that I'm more consistent with the gym, I really would also like a partner to take care of themselves because it's a reflection of how they carry on with life. When you go to the gym and you take care of yourself and you eat well, it shows how much you like yourself, and that in turn bleeds into other aspects of your life. When you're happy, you want other people to be happy, and I really truly believe that. I also want my partner to bring out the best qualities in me and push me to be a better person. And I understand that, no one's going to be 100% all the time, but as long as there's that effort. I don't like being stagnant in relationships. It just really irks me, and I start feeling like resentment because I feel like I have to be the one to push them, and I think that that should be an equal thing. And I know that sometimes you have to pick up the slack for the other person. It's not always going to be 50-50, but for the most part, there needs to be that compatibility. Number 5 is physical chemistry. I used to say looks don't matter, but attraction definitely matters. It's important to be attracted to your partner. I've been in a relationship where they checked off every box and every quality except for the physical chemistry was just not there. And I thought that's the price that I had to pay for being in a good and healthy relationship. But I just felt like I was more in a platonic friendship. And over time, I felt guilty that I was unsatisfied. I feel like that's such an integral part of a relationship, to have that emotional and physical intimacy. That's just what makes a relationship a relationship. I understand that over time that might fall off, but for the most part, you should be connected to your partner in that way. I also talked to one of my closest and dearest friends, and she was saying that sometimes when her and her fiance are going through a rough patch, their physical intimacy brings them back together and connects them back together. And I love how she explained that. I want that too. I would love to have that with my partner, the emotional intimacy and the physical intimacy. I just realized that's so important to me. I love loving on my partner, I just feel like that's what makes a relationship so special, that your partner is the only person that's able to have you in that way. Not that anyone owns you, but they're able to be connected in one of the most deepest and profound ways possible. So those are the 5 things that I've learned in a relationship. These things may sound so commonsensical, but I just didn't know it until I was in it. I hope you enjoyed listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye, homies. And dang it, the mic, I wasn't holding it.